Welcome to ATT Live. I'm Braden.
I'm Dan.
And tonight,
I'm Josh.
Oh, sorry, Josh. I interrupted. Fuck.
No, I just
Fucking
I
jumped.
said I was going to introduce you.
We talked about this.
Yeah, what the hell?
I'm such an
Cut his
asshole.
feed.
Done.
Today joining us is Josh, our Rhode Island paranormal correspondent. As you notice, Josh made the rookie mistake of coming on here with an empty green screen background. So make sure if you're watching the live stream of this, tag us in all the posts, in all the wonderful places you want Josh to end up. Make sure to tag us on our socials. Rookie mistake, my friend.
I screwed up.
If you want to jump on the show like Josh, join our patreon.com/Alien Theorists Podcast, and you can get your name on the list. Look at the tier section, and it says which ones can get you on the list to jump on lives with us and shoot the shit about conspiracies and what's going on this last week. First off, okay, everyone, calm down. All right. If you're listening to this, you just listened to the Stephen Kubacki episode. And I've had so many people reach out to me already. And I have to give credit where credit's due. The first person was Burmeister. And then a slew of people after being like, Stephen Kubacki was wearing a marathon t-shirt. It doesn't mean he ran a marathon because Marathon is a really popular gas station in Wisconsin. So there's like a brand called Marathon Gas.
Yeah,
and
it's like when you mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, there is a Marathon Gas. But it was like when I was doing my research, the person who some of the things that I came across, they were like Marathon. They're like, oh, I checked Marathon registration, so I assumed that it was like a marathon for Wisconsin around that time.
But no one could ever find him on the fucking.
No. The only one that was around that same time was like, no, it wasn't that thing. So I don't know if it was just it wasn't clear in the thing. Everybody's just if you didn't live in Wisconsin, you were kind of like Marathon. Oh, okay, like.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. I was like, everyone's like, it's the gas station. I was like, doesn't really change the fact. Where was he? Who cares that he's got a gas station?
Marathon, Wisconsin. I mean, yeah, it's still weird that you have a Wisconsin marathon, like a marathon shirt from Wisconsin. Like, what?
And just the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the UFO Twitter beef going on between. It's World War III out there, people.
Oh my God, it's getting worse.
We're starting to have to pick sides, and it sucks because I wanted to be like Switzerland and remain impartial in this, but I feel like we're slowly getting dragged into it too because everyone knows that Skinwalker Ranch is near and dear to our hearts on this show, and you got
greatest paranormal mystery in the history of mankind.
It's like that Oak Island, right? Like unbelievable, and you got Stephen Greenstreet out there who's just now he's fanned the flames that is Travis Taylor. And now he's just been like going after this guy.
Earned ire.
And he's been like, he's like, yeah, Travis Taylor, 6 years on the ranch, hasn't found nothing on his little hillbilly ghost ranch. And like fucking calling him out. And like,
just,
fucking behind the scenes, Travis Taylor is just blowing gaskets.
Yeah. Josh, do you watch Secret of Skinwalker Ranch? Have you watched any of it?
I've seen a few episodes, but
have you listened to our recaps of fucking?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Okay.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. Yeah, that it is the greatest mystery of all.
The greatest.
What has been referred to as paranormal Disneyland, apparently, is one of them they referred it to. That Stephen Greenstreet's been going in on Travis Taylor and them. It's been interesting. If you're familiar with Stephen Greenstreet, he does a couple of YouTube channels and things like this, and he does some stuff for the New York Post.
Hates UFOs.
And he hates Skinwalker Ranch for sure,
and Travis Taylor.
But he actually spent a night on Skinwalker Ranch though, so that's something. He went out there. Brandon Fugel took him out there. I just watched I guess it was a while ago, but it was maybe a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. He had an interview with Brandon Fugel. Fascinating. Like Brandon Fugel is a interesting character for sure. Like you're like, oh, if you heard like, oh, somebody bought Skinwalker Ranch, you'd be like Brandon Fugel. Once you learn about him, like, of course, that's the guy to own Skinwalker Ranch.
Well, it's interesting too because like from what you've told me is that you and Fugel have like a really, it's like the 7 degrees of separation. You two have an uncanny common interest, and that is the love for the dew.
Oh, that's true. Yes, we both are Mountain Dew fans. I don't drink it as much as he does, but yes, he does.
I actually don't know if we've ever brought that up on the show, how much fucking Dan loves Mountain Dew. Like Dan,
I like
nobody
different-
does the
it's-
do
yeah.
more than Dan. He'll pre-show sometimes. He'll be like, "Oh my God, there's a new fucking Mountain Dew flavor coming out tomorrow. Fucking Mountain Dew Gold Avalanche special edition. I gotta try to track it down where it's
good.
going. I gotta try it." And you're like, "Dude, it's a fucking radioactive sludge."
I do have a weird, I don't know why, but I have some kind of strange, I get excited about different flavors of Mountain Dew, and Mountain Dew knows they put out like different, they have in recent times, they have put out they started to put out new flavors regularly. And for some reason I'm a sucker for novelty Mountain Dew flavors. So if there's a Mountain Dew flavor out there and it's they're going to oh, this is a limited time run, I'm going to go out and drink it. I don't drink Mountain Dew all the time and I don't endorse that everybody do, but it's I do like to try the new flavors over there. And I will tell you, my number one Mountain Dew flavor is Dew SA. That is the number one. If anybody was curious, I've had plenty of the Mountain Dew flavors, except for the ones that are no, not all of them, because some of them are regional specific. You can only get them at this specific the specific chain of gas stations in the Midwest that I've never been to. There's a couple Purple Thunder.
Hey,
I think is one
I'm
of
sure
them.
we
It's
can.
I haven't tried that one.
Get some care packages sent your way of these exotic Mountain Dew flavors you haven't fucking tried yet.
We'll have to put out the call at some point to send me regional flavors of Mountain
But that
Dew.
was one of the funny things he said is that one of the things Fugal and Green Street, he's like, he's like, I go to this gas station every day. Let's go talk to the attendant.
Yeah.
He's like,
Brandon Fugal goes to the same, he goes to the same gas station, or he says he does. He says to the same gas station in Provo, Utah every day and gets a big gulp, slams a big gulp of freaking Diet Mountain Dew, which he's I forgot what he called it, but he's I fill it with mostly Diet Mountain Dew and then a splash of goji berry Mountain Dew. And he's and then fucking just pounds it back. And he's I probably drink 3 of these a day. And I'm like, how do you not have diabetes?
That's not good for you.
That's fucking the best.
I was like, are you going to claim that Skinwalker Ranch gave you diabetes?
Yeah. That's season 5, spoilers.
Yeah.
Brandon Fugal loses a leg.
No.
Yeah, but I guess if people are watching this live, look out for something that Stephen Greenstreet's going to drop something this week, I think, in the New York Post. I think he's actually putting out, or New York Times, I can't remember. One of those two, he's going to put out a big article about having to do with UFOs and stuff. So it should be interesting. And we'll see how that conflagration begins with Travis Taylor coming in with the steel chair or something. As it gets out there. Travis Taylor is angry, man. When did he get so mad?
You know what? It probably is. They haven't signed a new season renewal. Probably yet. That's my guess. So he's just really fucking. Someone in the chat saying, kidney stone care packages. Yeah, that's accurate. Chango in the chat is donating to our current goal. Our current goal is we're raising money to buy Dan a Guy Fieri brim Pfizer hat. Maybe we
Flavor Town.
Yeah,
baby.
we're gonna take. We want to from the theorists. Or from the prolapsers to you to Dan, we want to take him to Flavortown. So we're working on getting that topless. It's basically so we can see the top of his head. That's what we're going for. We're raising the goal. Dan's agreed that we can get him a Guy Fieri brim hat if we raise this goal. So that's what we're working towards. Thank you everyone who's supporting Dan's quest here. I fucking love all this shit. It's Skinwalker Ranch, Green Street, but by the time you're listening to this, Green Street's new article about Skinwalker Ranch is probably out, and you can probably jump on #UFO Twitter and just see the flames have ruined.
Watch it.
It's
watch it all burn.
Dude, I love it. We got a special Rhode Island paranormal correspondent. Well, what'd you have for us? You had a couple things you want to talk about today.
Yeah, no, a few things if we got time, but I'll start.
We got lots of time, man. We got all the time.
Yeah. So I'll start with one. So it's not exactly in Rhode Island. It's in Massachusetts, but it's only 30 minutes from me. I visited this place.
Well, now we look like idiots because we called you Rhode Island paranormal correspondent.
The other stuff is Rhode Island, so that counts still. No, I know, all over the place.
Just put yourself in New England.
New England. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. Just rename me. But yeah, no. So I was going to talk about the Lizzie Borden murder case.
Yeah.
So took place in about late 1890. So 1892 was
So it's
the
timely.
date of the murders here. Oh yeah. But it was like a huge sensation. Like it reached all over the United States at the time. Big sensation. And
Yeah, I think everybody, well, most of the people who are into it know the was it Lizzie Borden killed her mother and father in 40 whacks or whatever?
Yeah, it's like she killed her mother
with
with 40 whacks, and then she like when she really what she done, she gave her dad 41 or something to that effect. But yeah, so a little poem deal going on with that too. But yeah, so a little background though on Lizzie. So she was born in 1860 on July 19th in Fall River, Mass. And she was by all means a pretty normal girl, popular, always into like charity work. You know, everyone thought she was like just a genuine nice person. And whereas her dad was kind of the opposite. He was like this very wealthy, very serious, not very friendly businessman. I think he was at the time he was one of the wealthiest people in Fall River. Yeah, reading on it, he
your stereotypical Puritan.
Yeah, exactly.
New England Puritan.
Yeah, he just
at the time.
I'm reading it and I'm like, is this Ebenezer Scrooge going on? Like, what's the deal here? It just gave me those kind of vibes.
It's pre-ghost though. He hasn't seen any ghosts yet.
Right, he has not seen any ghosts. No. But yeah, so basically, in 1892, she claimed to have found her father dead, and when the police came, they noticed that her stepmother was also dead. So her dad remarried when her Lizzie's mother died, and it was like when Lizzie was 3. So she's lived with this stepmother her whole life, and they were always fighting about apparently they were always fighting about money. Lizzie, her sister, her dad, her stepmother, they were always fighting about money and stuff. Because they lived well below their means. I guess reports say they'd be fed like week-old stew and just old food and just not
I'd murder anybody who would give me week-old stew.
Oh well, I mean it just
Listen,
from all reports that they lived well below.
Inflation hits us any harder, I'm going to be eating 2-week-old stew here pretty quick.
Yeah, right. But so on the day of the murder, it was said that her dad went out that morning to do some business, went to town, and he came back because he wasn't feeling well, and he took a nap, and I think it was around 10 a.m. or something like that, and then right around 11:15, according to Lizzie's testimony, she found her father dead, and his skull was. They claim, that poem said, her mother or her stepmother was 40, her father was 41 wax, but it looks more like her dad was 10. And then, according to the coroner, that her stepmother died about an hour earlier, and she had about 20 wax. So whoever did it, they were, because Lizzie was actually found, she was acquitted. She wasn't found guilty because they not enough hard evidence.
Okay.
Well, didn't they say that essentially it's like it'd be impossible for her to do that just because of her frame, like her size and her frame. Like there's no way she, swinging that axe for like 30 times.
Oh my
God.
Oh my God. I didn't know what the fuck you guys were talking about. I was like, what is the wax?
Oh yeah,
I was like 20.
She's an axe
killed
murder.
him with 20 wax. I was like candles
with an axe.
I was
with
like,
an axe.
Like,
no,
I left that
40 gallons of wax, and I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck the wax is. And then as soon as you said axe, I'm like, oh, fucking whacking with the axe.
Whacking.
Okay. Oh my God. Jeez, that feels so fucking stupid. I was like, wax? I was like, is this some sort of like wax murders? Are they fucking encased in the wax?
Yep.
I was like trying to figure out. And I'm like, wait, it's only 20 wax. Wouldn't she be less covered in wax at 20? I was like, couldn't you just break out 20 dips in the wax?
Laying there while she just pours the wax on it. It's like a bunch of candles. It's like, oh no, I'm dying.
Doesn't move the entire time.
She's been stabbed with 20 wax candles. She's been waxed. Oh my God. I was sitting here and I didn't want to, I was like, well, I don't want to, you guys like, obviously you know what you're talking about. And I didn't want to seem too stupid. So I'm just like, oh, yeah, wax. Okay. Okay. Yes.
So the police shows up. They showed up and they're asking questions, everything, and they said it was very strange how calm Lizzie was, and she just claimed she found her father like that. And when they asked about like her stepmother, like where's your stepmother, she was just like, they asked her where's your mother, and she like got visibly upset. She's like, it's not my mother, it's my stepmother, and like almost mad. And instead of being like upset that they're both dead, she was very calm about it, which obviously is
shock if it was like
still,
I would say I'd be like, well, it's just parents are dead.
But so they arrested her, and she was like their number one suspect. But the only other people in the house at the time, besides obviously her father and stepmother who were murdered, was an Irish maid, Maggie, and I think that was it. Her sister was away visiting someone, so her sister wasn't not even home at the time. And I guess later that night, her sister was found. Not a sister, sorry. The maid was actually saw leaving the house with an unidentified item, which some might thought, okay, maybe that's the axe. Maybe she's helping Lizzie, or maybe she's the one who did it. But
I mean, if I'm like a maid at a house, and then I catch wind that the people I work for have died, buddy,
you're number one suspect in your head.
Sticky fingers. I'm like, holy fuck! I'm taking everything not bolted down. I'm out of a job. Right? You're like, they're dead? Who's paying my bills? They're like,
can't even give me references.
Stuffing my bridges with the candelabras.
Oh, what was your last site of employment? What happened to your last employers?
They got waxed.
Shit. No, they but then I guess it was found out that the day prior, like one day before, Lizzie was trying to purchase prussic acid, which I guess is a poison. And it always said it was
backup plan was
the
backup plan was the axe was plan B.
Well, that's the thing, because it said she tried to buy it. It didn't say she was, so I don't know why she was unable to buy it, but it said she had.
Yeah, she's like, I couldn't buy this. Gotta go to the backup plan.
Axum. And then a few days after, they said that she was actually caught burning a dress in her stove.
That's quite suspicious.
That is also, yes, very suspicious.
Quite suspicious. I'm not looking pretty guilty.
Yeah, you're burning stuff, and you're trying to buy poison. I don't know. It's all very very strange.
I was buying poisons. Everybody buys poison. It's like once, twice a week.
Yeah, listen, I got a whole bunch of poison right under my sink. I could at any point in time.
So basically, they're saying that one of the motivations could have been, that they live well below their means. She was being fed old food and always complaining about money, and maybe she kind of just had enough and snapped. The other thing though was that another account stated that a young man showed up randomly, claiming to be the father's illegitimate son.
Ooh.
And this was like late, like when they're late in the game. This is kind of, I'm assuming closer to the murder time, and he wanted to be recognized as an heir. Like he wanted to be like, I want in, because and this guy was like the wealthiest dude in Fall River, so I'm sure this very well could have just been some Joe Schmo being like, I want some money.
Yeah, if you want to make money, you got to eat day-old stew.
That's what you got to do.
Secrets of wealth.
But so their father, he was like, I don't believe it. The stepmother, she was like super pissed about it, and so the father actually changed his will to leave everything to his wife's, Lizzie's stepmother, like her family.
Ooh.
So, and then like soon.
Get fucked.
Yeah. Well, the weird part was soon after that he died, and then Lizzie and her sister ended up getting all the money. So for whatever reason that change of will was never finalized.
Sure.
And
they couldn't find a notary.
Right. Something. I don't know. But so her and her sister ended up ended up getting all of the money and and the inheritance, and they ended up Lizzie ended up buying a huge mansion that she called Maplecroft, and she started living at her means of wealth, instead of way below.
Dude, I would ball out. I would ball out so hard. Are you kidding me?
But because her dad was so wealthy, like they were friends with.
No more day old stool for me.
Yeah, right. But yeah, she was friends with all the wealthy people like in town, and they said like during the trial, a lot of these kind of wealthier people came to back Lizzie, and it was one of the conspiracies surrounding it though was that her lawyer was the previous governor of Massachusetts, George Robinson.
Okay.
So, and I guess that one of the 3 judges at the trial on the panel was a Robinson appointee.
Okay.
And then also he was.
They had a 3-judge trial.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, and also her lawyer, so the old governor of Massachusetts, was paid $25,000 for defending Lizzie, which at the time is a substantial.
Yeah, I bet
amount of money.
Hold on, let's see, $25,000.
Yeah, in 1892.
US in 1892.
Is that like OJ money?
Hold on. How much was it? $25,000.
$25,000. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Woo! $842,000.
Yeah, that's a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Just as for a defense.
Yeah, I was never. Okay, of course, I haven't really looked into the Lizzie Borden case, but I was never aware that they were like a relatively affluent family.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, her dad. Like I said, her dad was. I think they at the time they said he was one of the wealthiest people in Fall River.
Well, and that would make sense if in fact that she did it and she covered and they're like, well, she was pretty calm. It's like if you've been treated so shitty for so long where you're like eating, old stew and you're just like
Old
living shitty and you're like, we have money. Like, why are you doing this?
Well, that's exactly.
And then you murder him and then you're like, okay, I'm just going to ball out on defense. Like, yo, governor.
And then she lived till, what was it? 1927. So she lived fairly she was acquitted and lived just essentially a normal life till, older age and then died.
She just kept the money, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did she marry? Did she marry after that?
I didn't see. Yeah, right. No, I didn't notice. I know her sister came to live with her for a bit in the mansion, and then they had a falling out, and they ended up
and then
parting ways. Yeah, right. No, they ended up parting ways. But
yeah, got waxed.
But the house itself is said to be pretty haunted. So
yeah, I think I've heard that. I think most of the ghost hunting shows have been there at least once.
A lot of the
do
ghost
they
hunting
call
shows
it
have
the
been
Lizzie
there.
Borden house? Is that
Yeah,
why?
it's actually a bed and breakfast.
Okay,
yeah, it's a bed and breakfast now too.
Is that her house? Is the
Yes.
Lizzie Borden? Is that the house she lived in with her parents or the mansion?
With her parents, the one where they her parents
the one where they got
died.
murdered.
Yes.
The one. Okay, yeah.
I've been
that
there.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been there? Did you say?
I've been there.
How was it?
It was pretty spooky. And I've been there. So actually recently, and I was there before this happened, but Ghost Adventures bought the house in 2021.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember watching that episode that they bought the house.
Yeah, so I was there in 20.
Yeah.
I was there in 2012. I went with I was a sophomore in college. I just transferred, and I was in criminal justice, and they brought us kind of like a crime scene thing. And we're doing oh yeah, that's where they took us.
Today we're doing ghost crime, everybody.
But no, it was like this whole. It was like at the start of the year. So everyone in that program, we did this whole thing, this whole weekend. We stayed in a cabin. We went to the Lizzie Borden house. We did all these different crime scenes.
Ghost crime.
Yeah, but it was cool. But so that was But that was one of the places they took us. But I actually had an experience there. But I'll save that for a little bit.
What the fuck are you talking about? I want to hear it now.
Yeah.
What? You can't tease me with that. I stayed there and I had an experience. Next time, you're not going to hold us.
No, so I didn't actually. We didn't get to stay the night, unfortunately. But while we were there, so during the tour, they tell you, no recording. all that stuff. Obviously they want to bring in money for tours and stuff, and if you post it on the internet, they don't get those tours. But so they don't want anybody recording anything like that. So one of the kids I was with was just he looked at me and goes, "Hey," he's like, and he didn't record video, but he recorded audio, and he just kind of held his phone down by his lap, and so the whole time we're going through this, he's recording all this audio, and we end up in the dining room, and everyone's talking, great, not a big deal. And I say dining room, I'll go back to that. But we ended up going through the whole house, and the house is pretty, like I said, it's pretty creepy. There's one room where there's just a children's like toy chest and a bed, and it's one of the rooms you can stay in. And so like that room specifically, like people hear kids running around playing with toys. Because there have been, even before the Bordens, they said that there were kids that lived there who died when they were younger, and they're just kind of attached to that house.
Oh, dude, every kid's toy I own is possessed.
Oh, dude, I had an R2-D2 that was possessed, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I said earlier, I said on Cosmic Challenge the other night, I was like, if anyone owns anything by VTech, all those toys are brewed with human souls.
They might be. But yeah, so people claim to hear like kids bouncing balls. I've had a friend who's been there who said that they were just walking and they felt like someone or their shirt got snagged on something, like a hook, and they turned around and it was just empty space. So they thought it was maybe like one of the kids like kind of like playing with them, pulling on their shirt. And so that room was like one of the creepiest rooms, just because it's like, anything to do with kids and ghosts is super creepy anyways. But we ended up getting through the house, and we're staying in these log cabins, like about 20 minutes away from the house. And we go back and we're like, hey, let's pull up the audio. So we're listening to the audio, and we get back to the point where we're in the dining room, and we just you can hear the speaker or the tour guide. She's talking, explaining everything, and then you just hear like a large exhale. I guess is the best way I can put it. It wasn't a growl. It just sounded like a heavy exhale, loud enough where if someone did that, it would have interrupted the tour. That's how loud it was. And we're like, that's weird. Like, cause no one remembered hearing that. And so I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure Ghost Adventures did they stayed the night here. And so we pulled up the video of Ghost Adventures and we started watching it. And
you're like, God damn, Zach Bagans is so cool.
But they get in the dining room, they captured the same exact sound.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I literally got chills. I got goosebumps. I remember I was almost like tearing up. I was just like, holy shit, like that's insane. Like just the fact that we almost had confirmation, or pretty much we did have confirmation. Like that was just something like, because Ghost Adventures, like what the heck was that? And we, when we were listening to it, we're like, like I said, it was loud enough where it was like almost like someone just like was this close to the mic and was just like exhaled directly into it. And I just, like I said, loud enough where it would have interrupted the tour. Like so you would have like looked at the guy like, what are you doing? Whoever did it. So it was just, that was creepy. So that was, my experience there. But it gave me chills, at the time when having Ghost Adventures kind of confirmed that that same issue, that same.
Well, and the interesting thing is like with that, it sounded like it's so close to the mic. You're like, because in my head first I was like, are they rigging up the ghost house to make it? But then, but when you say it's close to the mic, they would have to have someone like, hey, I see this guy's recording audio, sneak up behind you, like into your mic.
That would be even weirder.
Well, and when we were standing towards the back of the group, so we were like against like the back wall of the dining room.
Yeah.
So to have someone wouldn't have been able to sneak up behind us, and we were in a group, so it's like you would notice if someone was like knelt down near your phone, breathing into it or something.
Yeah.
You would hear them. You'd be like, "What are you?"
But even if it was like an audio thing, like
you'd feel it on your
Zach
hand.
Bagans, what are you doing here?
Why are you blowing on me?
yeah, no, but like even if like it was something like they had speakers rigged, and like no one heard it like audibly like in the room at the time. We only ever heard that noise on the recording.
Yeah, that's freaky.
So, that was, like I said, that was freaky. And like I said, I knew that other girl that I knew, she had that experience with the child pulling on her. Previous owners, so to go into like other hauntings there,
I need to get my most haunted stamp. Sorry.
Yeah, right. This house most haunted. Boom. But so the former owners, the McGinns, they said that like lights would just turn on and off by themselves, and this is without tours going on. This is just them in the house. Lights would turn on and off. They would be in like a random room, and they would see the light switch itself actually flick. They'd just be walking by and the light would just switch and the lights would turn off or on, and they'd physically see it move. Someone was pressing it, but another thing they complained about.
Dude, the first thing I would do there is I'd be pulling the thing off the wall. I'd be like, is this mechanism or some sort of mechanism back here? I need to know.
Yeah, right.
Just all jacked up on Mountain Dew, putting my fist through the walls.
But these guys, these owners, the McGinns, I think the McGinns specifically, like, I don't think
the walls are full of wax.
40 wax.
Do essay as I'm putting my head through the fucking plaster to take a peek in there. I would have to though. Like if it flipped there, the first thing I would do is like, you got this rigged up 100%, and I'd be like, where's a Phillips?
Bring your own tools to the ghost.
Ripping out the cables through the walls. Like
I don't think that these owners were running tours yet. I could be wrong, but I don't think these owners were running tours yet. So when they're saying like lights are flickering by themselves, it's like this is like any pre-rigging. So when I say like I was there in 2012 and the Ghost Adventures bought it in 2021, like I wanted to specify that because I'm like, all right, if I went there after the Ghost Adventures,
it's probably
it's like okay, maybe there's some rigged stuff to make it more, because they do like, I guess now they do ghost hunts every night. They have ghost tours booked like for every night.
Dude, those spirits must be fucking exhausted.
Yeah, right.
Fucking no rest.
But yeah, no. The McGinns also claim like people would be they'd be on one floor, like the main floor, and they would just hear doors like slam shut or open, followed by footsteps. And they're like, there's no one else in the house. Like, it's just us two. And, so that's what, accounts from them. But I guess Lizzie's stepmother has also been seen wandering the house, mostly, I guess, on the second floor and one of the guest rooms. People staying in, like, one of those guest rooms, like, they'll feel an impression on the bed, and then they'll feel, like, the sheets tighten around their chest and legs. Like they say, the best way they can explain is like if someone's making the bed while they're still in it.
Oh, buddy, snug as a bug in a rug, right? Just
So they're like, maybe she's just doing chores, going about her daily ghost routines.
I don't know, dude, that's fucking freaky. I don't.
Yeah.
The second I felt someone tucking me in, I'd be like, all the sheets are off.
Let me out.
Yeah.
Let me out.
Yeah, that's it.
They also people like. They'll claim like people who stay in this one specific room will they'll be woken up in the middle of the night and just to sounds of a woman crying. And they claim or they think it could be Lizzie's stepmother. Because by all accounts she wasn't a mean person. Lizzie and her sister just didn't like her. And I don't know if that was they were pissed at their dad for like the financial issues and they just kind of took it out on their stepmother, but she wasn't like the evil stepmother from Cinderella. She was a fairly nice person.
Yeah, but it could be a thing of greed, right? If they're worried that she will control the assets, if the husband dies, you can't. If you're them and that's your plan, you can't leave it to chance of like, well, if we leave her alive, maybe
she's gonna get all the money.
She's gonna get all the money, and we can't let that happen. So maybe that's a reason to get rid of her.
Yeah, no, I mean, so people say like they hear her crying, and it's always like the same time at night, and it's like if you only stay in a specific room, which is adjacent, so it's not in the room, they hear it through the walls. So if you're staying in one room, you'll hear the adjacent room, you'll hear her crying in. Yeah, and then sometimes they'll see like just an apparition of like an older woman with gray hair, and just kind of doing chores around the house, which they also claim to be her. So
they're just like, you're like, it might be the maid still. We don't know.
It could be the maid. It could be because Well, I've read like stuff that said the stepmother, she would also do chores. I'm like, then why did you have a maid? Like if you're feeding week old.
Because you have to clean the house before the maid gets there.
That's true. Yeah. That is true. You don't want to look gross.
You don't want it to look like a mess. Yeah.
We'll feed you week old food.
You don't want the maid judging you when they get there.
She goes in the fridge and she's like, this same food has been here for the last 3 weeks, but the pillows are clean.
Yeah, she's like, it looks great. Looks great. Spotless in here. She's like kicking up her feet. Yeah, why didn't they have her cook?
All I can find is 2-day-old stew in here. That's it.
It'd be interesting. I'd definitely go check it out now, especially that Ghost Adventures owns it. I'd go on a ghost tour and because I'd want to see if it's.
Are they still on
I'd want to see if
it was a couple years ago when they bought it.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, 21. Let go of that.
Do they still own it?
Why
Do they still own it?
As far as I'm aware, yeah,
mad money, dude.
It was real popular in 2012.
And they've got these tours, so it's like, they're probably just raking it in.
And they're probably booked out. They probably buy.
What were we thinking? We should have started buying haunted houses and shit.
Yeah, we should have. Yeah, we should have.
We really
you put your stamp on them. Yeah. Most haunted. Yeah. Boom, come here. Yeah. Most haunted.
Most haunted ghost tours every night.
I guarantee that's what they're doing now.
Well,
realize they can start buying haunted properties.
I would like to see personally. It was like I would really like to go and just see because I'm like, do they have shit rigged up now? Like, because on one hand, I feel like you would want to. You know what I mean?
I definitely got to go back. Yeah. I got to see like how do I remember it in 2012 versus now.
I'd be curious to see. I want to know if someone shoot us a message if you've been there recently. Do you think they have stuff rigged up? I'm curious. At the Lizzie Borden
rigged up as in like that stuff for sound?
Yeah, sound or like to make the floors creak or something.
Oh, you mean to make them creepy?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I think it's
haunted house town.
I'm pretty sure they're still also running it as a bed and breakfast though. I don't see why they would cancel that. I'm sure that's got that attracts.
How many people could stay in there? I don't know. It's not that big a house, isn't it?
No, but they renovated the attic to put like 2 or 3 more rooms up there.
Yeah, fuck
so
that.
They weren't usually. Yeah, there were never rooms, but for the bed and breakfast purposes.
Yeah, dude, it's still you can still.
Nice.
Holy god damn!
How much is it?
Expensive.
Stay at the Best Western. Oh my god. It's just looking at tonight.
Well, it's based on couple. It is based on couple.
Oh, is it?
Right? So,
well, it's $337 a night, and the Riverside Inn and Suites, and the Hampton Inn, and the Bristol Harbor Inn.
Does that come with breakfast?
All 120, and they have.
It's got to be breakfast. It's a bed and breakfast, so it's got to include breakfast.
Oh, does it include that?
I would assume.
Yeah.
The food.
But when I was, I know
only if it includes alcohol, like it'd be like
right, all right, not bad, all inclusive.
Yeah. But do I have to bring my own murdering wax or what?
I'm gonna, I kind of. There's a really haunted hotel near me. It's called it's on Quadra Island. It's the name of it is eluding me now. But it's like a legit haunted hotel, or where like people have gone and ghost hunted. I don't think Zach Bagans stamped it yet.
Well, then it's not.
But I've always wanted to. I always wanted to stay there, and then I was like, Harriet Bay Inn, and I've always wanted to stay there because I'm like, man, it's like a quick little ferry ride away, not even like that close, and it's not that expensive to stay at, and apparently it's super creepy, but I just find it a little bit irresponsible to bring a child that hasn't formed memories.
Oh, you're not going to sleep anyway.
Right? You know what I mean? We all know the veil is thin.
No, they don't have any. But they're not having permanent memories.
Yeah,
yet,
but I don't know. Like, I don't want anyone jumping in there. You know what I mean? In that,
trying to taking
them for a ride. I don't like that. I don't want to lose him in the TV. I can't risk any of that. So
yeah, all right.
Maybe once he's older, I'll.
Oh, what's that movie where they go to the Nether? They sleepwalk and they go to further. What is that?
Oh shit. I forgot all about that movie. What?
Insidious.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, don't like it. Yeah. Not doing it. So I'll wait. I'll wait.
The TV. They're here.
No. That's why kids and ghost stuff. No.
You had something else for us too. You brought.
Yeah. No. A couple things. So, let's see. All right. I'll give you this one. So, right next door to the town I grew up in, there's a camp, summer camp, super. So a little bit of backstory, and
there was a drowning.
No. Oh,
Bunch of counselors drowned a kid.
Well, it was
with
on a
special
reservoir.
needs kid.
It was on a reservoir, so maybe. But as it pertains to this story, no. So it's super Catholic camp. I mean, a lot of stuff in that area was very Catholic.
Well, I didn't think they'd definitely murdered a kid there.
It was. So basically, this story dates all the way back to the 1950s, but it's a story of Fingernail Freddy, or AKA Hotshot Charlie.
What?
Yeah.
Why does he have two names?
So we'll get into that. So basically it's like Hotshot Charlie turned into Fingernail Freddy. So basically what had happened was there was this guy named
I know a guy, just because it's so close. I know a guy who his handle on all social media is Freddy Fingerbanger.
Okay.
I feel like he could fit into this equation. You'd be like, he's one of these three: Freddy Fingernails,
Is he
Hotshot Charlie, or Freddy Fingerbanger.
He's one of them. Yeah. So there was this guy named Charles Torrey who lived. He was a homesteader. He lived in the woods surrounding the camp, and he lived there with his wife, 2 daughters, and he was pretty self-sufficient. Wasn't a recluse, but he never really had the need to go into town a whole lot. He had livestock. He grew his own crops. He had a lot of land and stuff, and so he was just pretty much self-sufficient. But on the weekends, kids would come from the city to go to camp there, and I guess they would mess with this guy pretty bad. They would go up to his cabin or his barn. They would open up all the animal pens, like let the animals out, knock over crops.
100% horror movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Beginning.
Oh yeah. They would. Yeah.
This is how horror movies start.
Vandalize his property.
How many kids did he pitchfork? That's what you're about to
tell
us.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're close. So he eventually got
the rusty sickle out.
He got fed up and he went a little 40 whacks.
Honey, give me my murdering wax.
He turned to rock salt and a shotgun. He started loading shotgun rounds with rock salt, and it was said that all the kids, next time the kids would come back to mess with him, he would just blast them with rock salt. And
effective.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean,
be like, yeah, you're right, I guess.
They're not, it's not, I mean, at the most, you have to be pretty close for it to even break skin.
Are you trespassing though if he's homesteading?
I mean, I don't know. It's like, does he have like a designated like landline? Like, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how that works. But I mean, if you're vandalizing his property, though, I would say like his barn or his animals like that he owns. But I don't know where his property line is. I don't know where you can say, hey, if you cross this line, you're trespassing. But
you're letting out my animals.
Well, I think you'd know by
I'd be pissed.
You would know by how high the gun's getting raised from waist level, like how close you're getting to the edge of the property.
It's just
so
like,
the worst game
close.
of hot cold.
The kids got as it goes, the kids got upset that he was blasting them with rock salt, even though they're the ones who were the assholes. But so they tried to get revenge on.
How dare he? How dare he shoot us with rock salt as we let his fucking animals?
Yeah. So they wanted revenge, and they ended up going to his cabin one night and setting it on fire. And he wasn't in the cabin at the time.
That is a very good. Yeah. That is a very proportionate response.
Well, it's a big jump from just letting animals out to now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Total next step.
He was shooting you with rock salt. Let's see.
So we're just gonna burn your fucking.
He's
barn
probably
down.
gonna leave you alone now.
Yeah, right. So he wasn't in the cabin at the time. I guess he was in a barn, saw the smoke, and came running over, knowing that his wife and 2 daughters were in the cabin. Oh. He goes in, tries to save them, but he's too late. And while trying to save them, he was very, very badly burned. Like,
this is a horror movie for sure. Now he's burnt.
He's disconfigured. He's
now he's disfigured, and
disfigured. Yeah, that's the word.
Outside of his cabin.
Photography.
Yeah, exactly. Comes out of the flames. It's all melted face and just like, okay.
so he was so he was so badly disfigured that he wouldn't even go into town anymore. He became a full-on recluse, living in the woods.
Yeah.
And it's said that any kids who ventured onto that property or he would murder them. Like that's the last straw. So now,
as you do,
is it is it one of those stories that the camp counselors tell the campers and
that's true.
I bet
100%.
But as my dad went to camp there and he was a camp counselor there. I went to camp there, and but there is you can actually find the old like cellar for like where the property was. You could actually still see like kind of like a little bit of like like overgrowth over the cellar. Like there's still remnants of that property that
right. That's where all the dead bodies are.
Yeah. So there is property there, and so they so they're like that's him. But and then where he kind of turns into Fingernail Freddy is that now that as he's a recluse and he's just living in these woods, just killing kids who venture onto his property and stuff. He I guess one of the things he did was he grew out his fingernails super long and like sharpened them. And he used that as his weapon. So kids would come on.
Nice, Freddy Krueger.
Right. Well, yeah, that's where a lot of people like, hey, did that movie Nightmare on Elm Street get its kind of come from this guy here, Fingernail Freddy, but this like I said,
that would still hurt though. Like if you're trying to kill people with your fingernails,
right? They'd have to be some pretty damn strong fingernails.
Well, have you ever seen those people that like get the world record fingernails? Like those things start to look thick too. You know what I mean?
But like, yeah, if you're trying to like kill people with them, I feel like if you jabbed them in just the wrong way and like like snap off or something.
Very least they're getting an infection.
Oh yeah, but. Yeah, that's
keeping those things pretty solid. I don't know. So he grew out his fingernails and he's murdering kids.
Grew out his fingernails and he's turning.
How was he murdering the kids before?
I guess just tools. Like maybe he loaded slugs in his shotgun instead of rocks. So.
Oh, he still used a shotgun.
No, but I'm assuming that they just said that it wasn't really there was no murder weapon before he grew out his fingernails that they mentioned. It was just him he would just kill kids with whatever means. And then grow out his fingernails and.
Yeah, he's like, this isn't working. This takes too long choking him out. I'm just gonna grow out my fingernails.
Just go for the stab.
A couple slits on the jugular.
But yeah, no, it's cool because, like I said, there is still there's the remnants of a of a homestead, of a house out out there. So it's like it could and there was a guy out there, a homesteader named Charles Torrey. This is a real dude
murdering kids
whose house was burnt down and stuff. So it's. So the story came from a legitimate source, not just a barn fire story.
It's based on a true story.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. You have a guy just running around out there. Oh man, yeah, that's horror movie stuff.
There's a lot of like that haunted stuff around my area, just because, like I said, it's
because you have a bunch of summer camps.
Well, but it's also super. I feel like wherever you get like super like old timey Catholic stuff, it's like you get a lot of like hauntings and different sort of tales. Like I got
wherever you have like a summer camp.
There's always something. Someone's dead.
There's always somebody out there murdering.
Oh
kids.
Yeah, someone died. Some kids were super mean to some kid or some guy, and he died, and now he's killing.
If you go to summer camp if you're a counselor, your chances of dying go up 1,000%.
Oh yeah,
going out there. It's the most dangerous. It's you could probably look it up. It's probably the most dangerous profession in the U.S. being a camp counselor.
Oh yeah,
I think it's up there.
Yeah, it's like
up there,
it's like smoking, smoking, cancer, car accidents.
I'm pretty sure like 80% of like summer camps are built on Indian burial grounds.
Yeah.
Like,
and they don't even attribute it to murder. It's just camp counselor, like the death. Cause of death, camp counselor.
Attrition rate.
Death by camp counselor.
Camp counselor.
That's just the job.
They're like,
they're either built on Native American burial grounds or like, portals in the lake or something. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that shit out my way. And I got one more thing if you guys want to hear it. If you guys got time.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Hey, listen, you're setting the bar. Nice high bar here. So we had some things. We're just letting you... Let's do it.
No, I mean, I can talk about this.
Let's do it.
Call into Cosmic Channel. All right.
No, you're here now.
So the last thing I got, it's called the Devil's Hole. And
I like it.
Yeah. But it's also
a summer camp.
No, it's not a summer camp. It is no, it actually comes with a cryptid. So that's cool. The Loup-Garou.
Okay.
It's a French Canadian werewolf.
The Rougarou.
Wait.
Well, that's like that's the Cajun werewolf.
They're similar. Yeah, they're similar vein. They're both
which Cajun's kind of Frenchy, but yeah. So, but it's the Loup-Garou. So, so in the town I grew up in Woonsocket, super French Canadian town. I'm like 100% French Canadian. I'm almost certain of that. And
don't you live in the States?
Yeah.
So it's pretty bold.
Hey, listen, my as
pretty
family
bold
tree
of yourself as an American to call yourself 100% French Canadian.
Well, blood, like ancestry, my ancestry. It's like, I did that whole ancestry thing. It's like all my dad's side, they're all French Canadian, and I look at my mom's side. I was like, I gotta be something else, right? No, all French Canadian. I'm gonna
go in and edit this. Josh is now our French Canadian paranormal correspondent.
Okay. Yeah, French Canadian Rhode Island paranormal correspondent.
He's not from Rhode Island. He's not American.
No, I'm from Rhode Island. I am from Rhode Island. That's. No. Lizzie Borden is just outside, but I am from Rhode Island, so don't worry, we got that covered. No, but so in the town I grew up in, Woonsocket, Rhode Island. The town was established in the 1820s. Like I said,
wait, the town is called Devil's Hole?
No, the town is called Woonsocket, but there's a Devil's Hole
there
area in the town. Yeah. Yes. So, so
we're gonna build it here. Well, Devil's Hole, okay.
Yeah, so sorry. Devil's Hole, it's a weird, it's a little weird story. But yes, like I said, founded in 1820s. Super French Canadian. There's on the main street of our town, there's a big sign that says Bienvenue à Woonsocket, all in French, and it's super, they called it the French Quarters, super French stuff, but very Catholic also. And so
it's chock full of wine and prostitutes.
Yeah. Now it is, for sure. Right now? Oh yeah, a lot of prostitutes.
Write down that address.
I'll give you a street, the
Devil's Hole is the local brothel now.
That's what it is now.
So the Loup-Garou, it was actually said to so we'll touch on that real quick though, but that was said to, it's like a self-contracted curse where it's if you weren't a good Catholic, you could just contract the curse of the Loup-Garou and turn into a werewolf.
Which had to be French Canadian, I think, to start.
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just dormant. It's just dormant inside.
In all French Canadian lives two Loup-Garous.
So in April 1868, there was a priest who wanted to build a church in the town of Woonsocket, so badly. He was just begging all of his parishioners, everybody, to build a church.
Church.
Well, no, the problem was that
need a new church.
There was so many Catholics in that area and so little churches that people were traveling miles and miles and miles every Sunday just to go to church. And he's we got to build one here. And the problem is so it's a big mill town, so that's why everyone kind of moved there. It's on a big river, big mill town, and everyone was working these long hours. No one had time to or money to give resources to building a church. They couldn't lend their horses. They didn't have any of that time. So what the priest did is the priest ended up praying to the Virgin Mary. And I guess as the story goes, he wakes up one morning, walks outside his cottage, and he finds the Virgin Mary before him. And she's like, this horse, and there appears a horse. She's like, this will build your church. This beast of burden will help you build your church. They describe this horse as being jet black with glowing red eyes.
The horse is like, let's get at
it. yeah, he's got a hammer.
Puts on its tool belt. It's at the drawing table. Like, we'll put this right here. Probably gonna get. We need this. It's probably gonna be this. I give you a quote now. I can give you a quote, but I'm probably gonna be a little bit over under. I don't know.
No, but the Virgin Mary tells the priest, though, he says, you must never remove the horse's bridle or it will be gone forever. So the priest is like, that's easy enough. Let's get to it. And so it stated that the horse could essentially pull the weight and do the work of like 5 to 6 horses.
That's just a 6 horsepower horse.
Yeah, oh yeah, big boy. He's got 6 horsepower.
This horse can do the work of 6 horses.
I mean, that lines up. It's 6. You got yourself a 6 horsepower horse. That's pretty fucking good.
This bear's got the strength of 2 bears.
Oh yeah, it was a beast of a horse, and so they're working on, they're using this horse pretty much primarily to build this church. And they got some, they ended up getting some people to help on the church. And the priest starts to question the horse. He's like, this horse is a little like off. And the priest starts to think that this horse is actually the devil himself put under a curse by the Virgin Mary.
Got him.
So, yeah, to help this one random priest build a church in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. So one day the foreman who was helping the priest, he's sick. He can't come to the job site. And he has someone else cover for him, and he tells this guy, you cannot remove this bridle on this horse. Like, that's the one thing. We can use this horse. This horse is great. Do not remove the bridle. And
I have a feeling we're getting into a day one scenario where he's like, good job there, old boy. Let's get this off you for a tough day.
So
you had one job.
So this guy, the guy's covering for the foreman, takes him up to the hills of Fairmont, an area in Woonsocket where to get some stone for the church. And super hot day, like hottest day of the year, and they're right on the river. So he's gonna he doesn't see a problem with letting the horse take a drink of water for a minute. So he's like, I'm gonna pull the bridle off for a minute. Right?
Fucking job.
Oh yeah, this guy's an asshole. So pulls the bridle off. The horse is taking a sip, and not like a minute later, this chasm just opens up in the ground. This just fiery chasm, this hellhole, and the horse turns into just this huge demonic figure with giant bat wings, and just flies down into the hole. Just takes off, gone. And then
he comes back. He's like, "Where's the horse? Did you take the bridle off?" And he's like,
"Nope." Well, he's like, got it in his hand.
No, I mean, down the hole it goes.
No, this bridle's for another horse.
It's different. That John's horse.
This is a different bridle.
What the hell was that thing that flew down there? I don't know. Oh, what thing? I didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
So the guy never made it back. Okay. They said at that moment.
Yeah, because he fucking left. He's like,
I'm fired.
Guess I'm moving the town over and changing my name.
I had one job. I'm definitely fired. So they said at that moment, though, that guy, like, just turned into the Loup-Garou. He just grew fur, just got down on all fours, and just turned into, I guess, what's called this Loup-Garou. Like, that was his curse. He directly disobeyed the Virgin Mary's orders.
Well, I mean, he didn't, but that's
the Virgin Mary. Well, he pulled the bridle off. He was just
the guy who pulled it off.
The guy who pulled the bridle off, not the priest, but the guy who pulled the bridle off. He
turned into Loup-Garou?
Yeah, he turned into Loup-Garou. Like, that was his curse for disobeying, the orders of not to pull this bridle off.
As the bridle in his hand, it starts sprouting hair and stuff, like, oh fuck.
Oh yeah. So
it's funny because when I quickly looked up Loup-Garou, most of the Loup-Garou stories and tales are not as violent as its Rougarou counterpart.
No, so the Loup-Garou is, I guess, not as violent, and they said it's pretty easily curable. You can just, if you manage to get some of its blood, you have to draw blood. That's all you have to do is draw blood and then get it to confession. And he's
Oh, that's
yep.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's easy. Let me just shove this like 7-foot werewolf into a fucking confession booth and
I
like,
guess
cut it.
if you're able to draw blood,
Easy.
it starts
Okay.
or it starts that transformation back. You just got to draw blood, and then to finish completing like the cure, you have to get him into confession.
Fucking getting him in there.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now the success rate on that is running zero.
This is relatively
Zero.
easy. This is relatively
No, yeah.
easy.
We're not hearing one story of like
Relative to what?
none of those.
I mean,
None of that's happened. No one's ever got one of those things into confession.
Nobody's getting cured of Loup-Garou.
He's like, oh,
It's just-
So the priest found out what happened, goes back, and at this point now the hole had kind of shrunk back into like a cave. But this cave is new. No one in the area has ever seen this cave before. They're like, hey, like we know the area. This has never been here. This so this cave just popped up. A hole opened up in the ground. Horse turned into a demon with bat wings, flew down, hole kind of closed up and just is now like a cave. And people would ride by that area, and their horses would get like a certain distance away and just stop. They wouldn't move any further. They would not get anywhere near this cave. Absolutely refused. And people were seeing wolf-like figures, like multiple wolf-like figures, like just heading towards that direction, going in the cave, coming out of the cave, which they assumed to be maybe more Loup-Garous. They would get dark storm clouds that would form just above the cave, like in that area. That's it. Nowhere else. Just above the cave. And so they ended up naming it the Devil's Hole. And yeah, so
They should do.
the
And then they built a summer camp on top of it.
yeah, right next door. Yeah, hey, yeah. No, I mean, I don't know, they like that stuff. But yeah, no, there's like I said, this you go back to those old, very prominently Catholic areas. You get a lot of these hauntings. We've got grave sites built on. We have grave sites built on French Canadian. I'm not French Canadian. Oh, Jesus. I got French Canadian on the main. We have grave sites built on Indian burial grounds, like on top of Indian burial grounds, new, like more grave sites. I'm just like, that's just asking for trouble.
That whole area, the Northeast.
Oh, yeah.
It's a paranormal hotspot. Josh, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It was great.
Yeah, no, it was a blast.
Tons
I
of
appreciate
paranormal.
it.
Good
This
stuff.
is one of the best correspondents we've had on. We're not quite sure if a French Canadian correspondent to the Rhode Island, but whatever you were, it's
I'll be it all.
Again, if you want to support the show, you're listening to Alien Theorists Theorizing, you want to support the show, patreon.com/Alien Theorists. That's where all the gold is. You can head to our merch store, buy some merch, or just go on one of our socials, leave a comment, share a post, like a post. All that helps us boost the algorithms, and make sure to leave a 5-star review on Apple, iTunes, podcasts, or whatever it's called now, and Spotify. And as we always say at the end of these things, keep those eyes on the skies. Peace.